I want to talk about something that has confused me for a majority of my life. And if anybody else experiences this, it's probably been confusing for them too. I was diagnosed with an anxiety disorder when I was around 18 years old. But the thing is, the way my anxiety showed up never matched what people were describing when they talked about anxiety. Because I don't have an anxious mind. I don't sit there and spiral. I don't overthink things into the ground. Like if something comes up that I can't do anything about, I just let it go. Like I'll think about it a couple of times and I'll come to some kind of conclusion in my head. Something like, oh, there's nothing I can do about this anyway, or something, whatever, right? And then I just move on with my life. So when people would talk about anxiety as worrying or racing thoughts or not being able to shut your brain off, I really couldn't relate to that at all. But yet I still had anxiety. Not just mild anxiety either. I'm talking like full blown panic attacks multiple times a week, every week for, oh my gosh, 20 years? I mean, they would send me to the emergency room. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that I thought I was dying every single time. Like, it was the scariest thing that I have ever experienced in my life. And it's not like, oh, I'm just scared something might be wrong feeling. Or like this is just uncomfortable. No, I'm talking like genuinely, I it felt like something in my body was shutting down. I was not going to make it. My brain was screaming, "You're going to die. You're dying." My heart would start doing weird things. Like my body would go into full panic, like a full alarm mode, and it would come out of nowhere, literally out of nowhere. That's the thing that always was so confusing to me and so crazy to me. Wouldn't be sitting there worrying about anything. I wouldn't be stressed. I wouldn't be thinking about something that would trigger anything. I could be having a completely normal day, even a good day. And then all of a sudden, bam, panic attack. It would hit. And once it hit, there was no talking myself out of it. Even after years of having them and I knew what a panic attack was, once I've learned that that's what was happening, even after I could logically say, this is anxiety, this is a panic attack, I could say that out loud. It didn't matter. Logic didn't touch it because it wasn't coming from my thoughts. It was coming from my physical being, from my body. And when your body decides something is wrong at that level, your brain can't override that. Your brain just kind of follows it into that rabbit hole or down that rabbit hole. So even though part of me knew what it was, and like another part of me was like, no, this is different. This is real. Something is actually happening here. And that's why I kept ending up in the ER. And at first they would take me seriously. They would run tests and check everything because the symptoms looked like something, that could actually be wrong. Of course, I'm terrified, right? That doesn't make it any better. So, of course, they were rushing around, because they don't know what's going on, right? That's why they have to do all those tests. But after it happened enough times and they started like literally recognizing me, and eventually it got to the point where they didn't even check me in anymore. They would just put me in a room in the triage area and just let me sit there. And what's crazy is every single time, as soon as I got to the hospital, it would stop. And it's not because they did anything for me. They didn't give me anything. They didn't do anything. I mean, there was really not much they could do. I guess they could have given me a shot or something. But I mean, once they realized that it was a panic attack and that I just have them, that often, I would just go in and they would just put me in this room and my body would just calm down on its own. And that's kind of crazy, right? But looking back at that, it kind of tells me everything that I need to know. It wasn't that I was physically dying. It's that my body thought I was. Like, almost like, imagine you're just hanging out, right, on your front porch or something. And all of a sudden, there is a saber-toothed tiger, which they don't even exist anymore. So that would be even more crazy, right? But I mean, just imagine that there's one, like, about to pounce on you, like 5 feet away. right? I mean, could you imagine the panic your body would go into, right? That's literally what it was like. And it's just, it was crazy. And I realized that, like, my environment, when I would calm down in the hospital, I realized my environment was telling my body, you're safe. You're around people who can help you. So that's why the alarm shut off. I mean, that's not mental anxiety. That's like a nervous system response. And nobody really ever has explained that to me. Everything I heard about anxiety was thoughts, mindset, reframing things, right? But, like, what do you do when your thoughts aren't the problem? What do you do when your body skips your thoughts entirely and just goes straight into panic mode? Because that's what mine did. There was no buildup or warning. It was just 0 to 100 instantaneously. And when it's like that, of course, you think you're dying. There's no gradual increase where you can catch it early. There's nothing you can do. You're just suddenly in the middle of it. And I'm sure that there are other people out there who experience anxiety this way and don't even realize what's going on, right? I mean, if you're anything like me and you've gone through this, you didn't get answers like this. I mean, nobody has ever told me anything about it. And you might think something is physically wrong with you, or that, like, something's being missed or something, because it doesn't match what people describe. And I mean, that was me for such a long time. And even though I had the diagnosis, it still didn't fully make sense to me because I didn't see myself in the way anxiety is usually talked about. And then one day, the craziest thing is it just stopped. Like, I mean, I had these severe attacks and all of this going on from the time I was like 18 until the time I was about 38. I mean, it was about 20 years. And then they just stopped. My panic attacks stopped. My physical anxiety symptoms stopped. I mean, sometimes every now and then, about once or twice a year, I will have some physical anxiety symptoms, but panic attacks don't happen anymore, and it's nowhere near as severe as it was. And I don't even have, like, some explanation as to why. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend I have a formula or an answer, because I don't. But what I do know is this: my anxiety was never about me overthinking. It was never about me being mentally out of control. It was about my body reacting to something, whether I was consciously aware of it or not. And once that shifted, the anxiety didn't have anything to run on anymore. So if you're someone who has anxiety that doesn't feel mental, like if you're someone who has had panic attacks that make you feel like you're literally dying, even when you know what it is logically, or even if you don't, I just want to make sure that you know that you are not alone. You are not crazy. And your experience is absolutely, completely valid, even if it doesn't match the way people usually talk about anxiety, because anxiety apparently isn't just in your thoughts. If you're anything like me, it lives in your body. 100% somatic anxiety over here. And if nobody's ever explained that to you before, that might be why it could be confusing. And I just wanted to share that just in case there was anybody else out there going through anything like what I did.